Okie dokie. Right. So another show, another fascinating guest on the other side. I haven't spoken to this man. It's almost exactly a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago. And what we're talking about is EFC. EFC's back. Yes, I've spoken to Graham. Graham's given us a sense in terms of high level, what's planned with the EFC, what the EFC is going to be doing. He did throw that little nugget in there, something about doing something absolutely bizarre, absolutely unique, absolutely new for the athletes, for the fans. Early April, EFC released a media statement talking about what that little nugget was. No one really understood it then. I didn't understand it then. But joining me today on the show, the big boy of EFC, the biggest oak. He's the smartest dressed guy at all the events. You all know him. Cairo Howarth, thanks for joining me today. And yes, I'm glad that those blinds are pulled up so that we can't all be jealous of what the view looks like behind you. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Mark. Good to chat again.
So, Cairo, I think before we get into those little nuggets, the thing that I was talking about earlier, EFC 85, just over 3 weeks away, your first event in well over a year. You guys, obviously, like most other sporting organizations, etc., took a bit of a toll. Weren't able to look after athletes, weren't able to possibly look after yourselves as an organization, bearing in mind that EFC is a business. You're not a charity organization, you're a business. EFC 85 coming up next couple of weeks. What have you been up to, and what can fans expect to see at the first event in well over a year?
Geez, what have we been up to? A lot of basically a big break from what we had before. You know, we've been running EFC for 11 years now, and every year it was running from event to event and pushing boundaries and coming up with new stuff. But it was very much, we were running from show to show, so to speak, doing an event a month. And then when COVID comes through and puts the brakes on that, and you don't do a show for a year, it was quite weird. It was quite a different space. But we used that time to build on what we had, to focus on the big picture. We've been, prior to COVID and the last couple of years, we've really been focusing on our African expansion plan, pushing out, I've spoken to you about it before, pushing out on television across Africa. So we use this time effectively to do that. We continued signing broadcast deals with networks, and I guess we're fortunate in that this time the UFC's done a great job of building MMA. They were the first live sport back. They showed how awesome MMA looks in this environment without an audience. It was amazing to see what they did. And they again continued to create the demand for mixed martial arts content, which is awesome. So although we weren't hosting live shows now, we still had a great archive of content that we were distributing extensively across TV networks. And again, a lot of sport isn't that great to watch when it's not live, but MMA content does do well as past highlight fights and stuff. So we did well with our distribution over this past year, which is cool, and it's really set us up now for a really good position, the perfect spot to come back with our live offering to these TV networks and build on what we've been doing. Although we weren't hosting live shows, we put a lot into the overall strategy of where we're going, what we want to do as a business, as a brand, how we want to position ourselves in the global mixed martial arts and the sports space. So been a different time, but we're certainly excited to be back in a couple of weeks' time.
Staying with that conversation around the work that you've done in expanding your reach. Now, what is it? 120 countries, upwards of 600 million people on TV. Obviously, all of these are numbers that are numbers that people are talking about. EFC 85 will obviously put a lot of those numbers to the test for the first time because of this work that you've done in the background. I know you and I spoke, what was it, just before COVID or around about the beginning of COVID was the last time we spoke. And there was this looming threat of Aries, North Africa. And I won't repeat the exact words you used to me over the phone about Aries and what you felt about Aries. But it seems as though they've become a non-entity. EFC has survived the pandemic. You obviously got your vaccine early. You come out of it. EFC 85 coming up soon. So I'm sure, like you say, the work in the background has, let's say, put you in a position to literally skyrocket African mixed martial arts to the rest of the world. Is that what is planned for EFC 85?
That's exactly it. Mark, we've been doing this for over a decade. It's not a short amount of time. We've got a brand behind us. We've got a reputation behind us. We walk the talk. We get it done. So we're perfectly positioned to take advantage, so to speak, to capitalize, so to speak, on the situation of the world. The world wants more live sport, and they're not getting enough of it. They want more good MMA, and they're not getting enough of it. And the spotlight is on Africa right now. Globally, the African MMA market is where the future. We believe this is where the future is, and we believe this is where the now is. So we're in the perfect position to showcase the athletes, to showcase what we've got, to showcase, we believe we've got an exceptional product. We believe our production quality is the best in the world, right up there with the UFC. We believe our athletes are right up there with the best in the world. So, all we got to do is produce our product, put our best foot forward. We've got the TV distribution. No other sport property, even entertainment property, has got the kind of television distribution that we've got in Africa. It's very unique. You're in television, you understand the media space. It's very unique to be on Super Sport every single day, 8-9 hours a day, plus to be on the biggest free-to-air TV stations, over 30 of them across the whole of Africa, every single week. It doesn't happen. Most sport organizations have a season, and they'll basically be exclusively on one channel or on another one. They're not everywhere like we are. We're doing digital distribution deals at the moment, which we're going to be announcing soon. We've got a whole bunch more TV deals, which we're going to be announcing soon. Yeah, I don't believe there's anything else that's got the kind of footprint that we've got. And it's the perfect opportunity for the athletes. It's been tough for, like you mentioned at the beginning of this, it's been tough for everyone in this COVID situation. But now this is the opportunity for the athletes in Africa to really put their best foot forward and shine under the spotlight.
Okay, so the scene's set. You've got the audiences waiting. You've got the television networks chomping at the bit to get going. You've promised them a shitload. First event breaks, like I said, in just over 3 weeks' time. Saturday night, for those of you that have been living under a rock that are listening to this for the first time, EFC 85 goes down. I'm assuming it's at the PI. More details, I'm sure, are going to be released closer to the time. But that's not the only thing you've been working on, because within that early April press release, as we mentioned at the beginning of this particular broadcast, you speak specifically about making 20% of the EFC business available to athletes and fans. So straight up, off the bat, what the hell does that mean? Are you selling 20% of your business? Or are you giving it away? How does it work?
Effectively, we're selling 20% of our business. We're listing it on an exchange, so people can a direct equity exchange, so people can purchase equity in EFC. And we're doing this with the athletes as well. So we're saying to an athlete competing at this upcoming event, we're saying you're going to get paid some money in cash, but you're also going to be getting paid in equity in the business. So you're going to be a shareholder in the EFC business. So the athletes are going to be owners of EFC. And from a supporter point of view, supporters for the first time ever will have the opportunity to be an owner in the business as well in EFC. So we see, that's in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Okay, so in a nutshell, so let me break it down, for many of the other guys. And I mean, fighters, I know fighters, they've been hitting their head a lot. So let's just dumbass it down for many of those guys that have been hitting their head a little bit too many times. So does this mean that as an athlete, if I was competing on one of your cards, I would be signing a contract for a cash stake to take out, obviously, my show and my potential win bonus, depending on how well I perform. And part of that would be X number of shares in the business. And are you adding win shares to those athletes to be able to walk away with? Or is this just a set fixed amount of shares? And is this disclosable, or is this contractually bound in terms of each and every single athlete?
So each athlete's a different amount, obviously, as per usual with their normal purses. But effectively, the athletes are, in order to make all of this happen again. So we've come from COVID. The world is a different place it was now than it was a year ago. The economic landscape is different. In order for EFC to execute the strategy that it wants to do, in order for us to put on the kind of shows that we do, we don't want to come out with a half-assed show, that watered-down version because we're in a tough economic situation. We want to come out with, we've got the platform like we spoke about earlier. We want to come out with the best show possible and give the athletes the best show possible. In order to do that, it takes investment. So we're looking at this, so we said, okay, athletes, partner with us on this, come in with us on this. The biggest expense that we have on the night is paying athletes' purses. That's, it's a massive expense on a fight card, on an event. So we say, athletes, you can compete, and you come in and you get shares in this business. So you are equity holders in EFC. And as the business grows, they benefit as well. Yes, they have the option to sell their shares if they'd like. We're hoping that the athletes will be holding on to some of their shares, all of their shares. Everyone's in a different situation. So if they, obviously if someone needs money for something, they'll be selling the shares, but we're hoping that the athletes will hold on to their shares and be owners in the business with us. And even when they go on and one day progress from EFC and go fight at UFC, it'll be amazing if they're still shareholders in EFC and supporting African MMA and growing with it. So effectively an athlete will get paid some money in cash on the night, as they previously did, but they'll be getting paid cash, a big percentage of their purse in equity as well, and win bonuses and performance bonuses will also be in equity as well.
So I assume then, obviously, for the financial minded that are watching this, that the value of each of those shares is going to obviously depend on what the value of the business is at the time that it floats in the next couple of days, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's okay. Exactly it. So we're doing kind of like a IPO, so to speak, in the beginning. So we're releasing shares in tranches, in 4 different tranches. It will go up. For the first tranche will be a lower valuation, and then it gets higher, higher, and higher as it goes. So the athletes who compete first and get their shares first, by the second round, the share price will be going up as the second round of shares comes out and goes out from there. But yeah, effectively, it's the same as owning shares in any business. You're going to be able to trade them. You're going to be able to purchase it, purchase them and sell them as you go. Okay,
so wow, a lot of questions now flying through my head. So first of all, now that means that an athlete that fights at EFC 85 signs for a specific fight purse, including share portion, obviously has a win bonus, which will probably consist of cash and maybe share component as well. That athlete essentially becomes a shareholder of the EFC. So they, just like you, own shares in the business. Does that mean quarterly shareholder meetings where athletes need to assist you guys to make decisions on the business? Do they get share certificates? I mean, what does it actually mean to an athlete? Because if I'm being brutal and I put that sort of cynical side of I turn my hat to the cynical side and I go, but
Cairo, that's always a cynical.
Come, of course, you know me that way because we got to get to the bottom of this nonsense. So let's twist that cap, cynical side on. Does that mean that essentially athletes are going to get paid in cash less per fight, but this is a long-term gain where they're potentially sitting with, if the business is valued at R1 billion and they are a 3% shareholder? My maths is pretty shit when it comes to dividing R1 billion by 3%, but that's how much money they sit with, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're setting up an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, which is going to house the shareholding. So the shares will be an owner in that business, which that business owns 20% of EFC, if you want to get technical on it. This is all being run by a company called Stack Assets. So Stack Assets is a direct investment platform. We did a lot of research prior to choosing to partner with Stack Assets. We looked at literally companies from San Francisco through to all over the world. We even looked at direct listing on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, on the Altex. So there are many different options available. We believe Stack Assets is the perfect platform for what we're doing for a number of reasons. One, it's very easy to open an account on there. So the athlete will go and open a Stack Asset account. You literally download an app on your phone, open an account, and then we will be loading their equity onto their account, and then they'll then be able to trade that equity on the Stack Assets marketplace. But what's nice about Stack is it's a very robust system. They've done billions of rands worth of property deals on there. They've got a whole bunch of other businesses on there. So it's not just EFC, and they have proper technology, underwriting, financial service board approval, all of that type of stuff. So it's a very secure, professional platform that's going to be setting this up, and they are the ones running this SPV, running the shareholding, running the whole system, running the back end, securing the technology that has the share certificates and all of that. That's all run by them.
Okay. And will athletes have a choice, or is there no choice? They take this mixture or nothing? Can I decide only to take cash or only shares?
As of today, they can discuss it with us. As of today, these first couple of cards that you're seeing, we're doing with the cash and the shares. As we grow and as we come back online, and as our cash flow changes effectively and we have cash available, we should certainly be looking at doing more cash and less shares or whatever it is. So it's a work in progress. But in the beginning, any athlete you see competing on these upcoming cards have all opted in for this, have all said that they're keen for this. They look at it and they go, what's the alternative? We don't have EFC returning. We sit for another year twiddling our thumbs. The sport doesn't grow. They don't get the chance to compete. Or they join us on this journey. We do this together. We're putting our money into this business. They're effectively fighting for shares, so to speak, and they're getting in there and they're investing in the business with us. So they're literally investing alongside us in the business in order to build it to where we want to get it to. But you mentioned earlier, building it to $1 billion business. That's literally our goal. We believe we're going to get there. You'll know the valuations of MMA organizations globally. You look at UFC, obviously that's the big gorilla, $8 billion. You look at ONE FC, raised almost $400 million from the biggest and smartest private equity funds in the world at $1 billion valuation. And what's the difference between ONE FC and what we've done? They're doing what we're doing in Asia. They're very Asian focused, Asian distribution, Asian athletes.
Correct.
We're African focused, African distribution, African athletes. They've reportedly lost over $90 million last year. So they but they still have a $1 billion valuation. We're looking at doing it our own way. We don't spend that kind of money. We run a much leaner, meaner machine here. And we don't think it's necessary to spend that kind of money. But the difference is we believe we'll become a lot more profitable, a lot quicker than someone like One Championship, because they're spending a lot. We don't have a $100 million hole to fill. So we're very much of the opinion that we can build this into 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 million business. Or why not? If you look at the value of sport properties in Africa, they are valued at that. And you look at MMA organizations globally, and that's still in the cheap range. So what we're starting off with this offering on Stack, we're coming in at under a $10 million valuation for the whole of EFC.
Okay.
Which is exceptionally low in my opinion. We're making it attractive as possible. We want to give the athletes the best deal, and we want to give the supporters who invest with us the best deal as well. We want them to walk this with us, and they want to make a lot of money in the future.
Let's talk the phases. First phase, it sounds like it's athletes only. When do fans get an opportunity to pull out their credit cards and hopefully become shareholders?
Actually, they're going to be running concurrently. Okay. So the athletes are obviously in. They've agreed to it. This is what they're doing. So they'll get issued their shares, on fight night once they've competed. They'll be issued as per their contracts. But first step for them is to open a Stack Assets account, so we can then issue their shares to them. And the same thing will apply to fans. Fans, I think in the next couple of days, will be able to open a Stack Assets account, say they're interested in EFC, and then the EFC offering in the coming week or two will be available for fans, for supporters to participate as well.
Cynical Cap still on, Cairo. Question. Does this not make it just easier for you guys not to just pay athletes what they're worth? And second of all, I mean, with only 20% of the business initially being given away, does it not put the athletes in a position, or put you in a position where you still own 80%, and irrespective of how they feel that you're running the business, you can still tell them, listen, piss off, you only own 20%, there's nothing you can do about it, I'm still the majority shareholder, I will still do what I want to do whether you like it or not?
Well, if you think the first question was, will we pay them less? Effectively, an athlete chooses to compete at whatever they want to get paid at. If they don't want to compete for EFC, they got a million other things they can do with their life, so I'm not forcing them. They phone us every day wanting to compete. So it's been like that since day one. So we know we put the best show on, we provide the opportunity, we pay them what we can afford, as we always have. We understand that the more we pay athletes, the better athlete we're going to get. We want to pay them as much as we can. Over these years, we could have been paying them a lot less. They would compete. We get phone calls from athletes saying they'll fight for free every single day. But we don't choose to take people fighting for free. We choose to pay them because we understand that the more we pay them, the better they're going to be. So yeah, I disagree with that idea completely. In the end, whether they're getting paid in equity or cash, it's actually the same thing. They can sell their equity and they can take the cash, So it's just today, that's what the situation is. But as this comes online and as the shareholding starts to trade, the athletes can sell their equity, So it's the same negotiation we have with them on purse every time. Every athlete thinks that they're Conor McGregor and they should earn $10 million for sure. And that's awesome. That's cool. And hopefully they all do. But at the same time, we're also running a business. We're not going to overcommit ourselves. We've got to pay what we can afford and what's available to us. But yeah, it's not just about what they're getting paid on the night. There's a lot of other benefits for competing for EFC. There's a lot of other stuff that we do that nobody else, none of the other smaller organizations in the world do, and most of the big guys don't do it, So we're putting on a great platform. We look after the athletes well, we promote them well, and we pay them fairly, So I certainly don't think that so I don't think that works. The second one you said was, what was the second point you said?
Oh, gee, now you got me. So it was basically talking about the fact that because they're only going to be minority shareholders at 20% collectively, you're still the majority shareholder.
Yeah, certainly we are. In the end, if they don't like how we're running the business, they can sell their shares. Like any shareholder in any business, if you buy shares in any listed company, unless you're Warren Buffett, you're going to be a minority shareholder. So if you're coming in there, you look at it, you look at what the management team's doing. Are they operating to the standards that you'd like? Are they, following the ethos that you'd like? Are they whatever your parameters are for that? And in the end, if they look at us and they go, geez, Cairo's doing a rubbish job and I don't like what he's doing and I'm not happy with it, then I assume they'll sell their shares and put their money elsewhere, But hopefully that's not the case. We obviously we're going to try our best and we're going to continue to try do what we think is right. In the end, we're still the majority shareholder. I still want to make money. I'm not going to do something that's detrimental to my own shareholding. It's really in my interest to make a lot of money and make everyone make a lot of money. So we're going to do our best to do that. So I just think what's awesome about it is it puts the athletes with us 100%. Up until now, an athlete might go, spend more money on, I don't know, give us 5-star catering backstage or whatever it is, give us more free stuff or give us this or give us that. Now it's like, okay, well, that's the line item in the budget. We all want to make less dividends. We can do that. Or would you like to spend our money like this? We're doing it. We're spending the money as best as we think. And it'll be great to get the input as we always do. And now they'll be very much aligned with us on exactly how that money is spent, which is awesome.
Well, Cairo, I think it's an absolutely unique way of looking at it, particularly from the perspective of an African context. You talk about the goal being to become the first African sports property with a shareholding of and from its athletes, and I think it's a great start. It's most certainly something different, a different way of getting the athletes engaged in the organization that they are literally putting their lives on the line for every time that cage door gets locked behind them. I think from a fan's point of view, it's definitely going to separate the mice from the men in terms of those guys that truly, truly support African combat sports. I mean, we see so much on the various social media platforms when Usman and Ngannou and Israel Adesanya do their thing, and everyone's talking Africa shine, Africa rise. I think now's going to be truly the opportunity where we see if people really want African MMA to go to the next level. So well done, congratulations. I think the proof is obviously going to be the proof of this pudding is obviously going to be in the eating. We'll wait a couple of months down the line, get a sense as to how the athletes are really feeling about it. I think for them, it's going to be a case of what that initial valuation is, when that second tranche and third tranche and fourth tranche of shares starts coming out, what those valuations look like for them to be able to look at their little balance sheet on stack assets and say, holy shit, look at that. I may have only, made 10 or 20 grand off the fights, but I'm currently a shareholder valued at 95,000 Rand if I was to sell this today. And here I'm using numbers. Forgive me. I mean, that's the goal. I can see it. I can understand it. So final question for you. Obviously, big TV deals done in the background. Africa almost covered with EFC, almost on every single platform in every single country. Surely there's got to be some big sponsor announcements coming soon, because the frustration bit for me, and I've been covering the sport now for almost a decade myself, is why do we not have any major sponsors of combat sports in this country? The big brands that sponsor the UFC and ONE and Bellator and all those kind of guys just don't seem to want to sponsor it here in Africa. Their absence is notable. Is there big news announcements coming soon?
Especially considering the value that we've got. I see exactly what you're saying. There are some announcements coming soon, which is good, which we'll be pleased about. But our reality also is we've been offline for a year. We haven't had an event for a year. And now we're kind of going the route, if you build it, they will come, so we need to put the show on. It's going to look different from our past shows. It's no audience, all that type of stuff. So, and we have a different television distribution than we've ever had before. So we want to put the best product forward, get it out there, and say, see, this is what we have built. This is what you can access. This is the audience you can get to by partnering with EFC, by partnering with the athletes, by partnering with the sport. So, yeah, it'll come. Mark, in the end, we can't be denied the audience that we've got. The value is there. It's simple. If you look at the value, if you take what our TV value is on African television, if you add up what those weekly broadcasts and on all these different channels, if you add up what that media value is, if you were to go and purchase, if you're a brand and you're going to go buy that same airtime and go, hey, I'm going to put my brand on all those TV stations, as much as you're going to get with EFC. In a year, we're currently sitting on $130 million worth of TV time in a year. So,
okay,
massive. So so it's coming. The brands are coming. We're gonna be offering the best value that there is for a brand. If I was a brand wanting to get my brand out on television in Africa, or just get my brand out in Africa, do a deal with EFC, and it's literally like a shotgun approach. The whole year of television, there's nothing that offers the value that we offer, and yeah, we're excited about that. It's just, yes, this last year has been difficult. Obviously, we haven't been doing the shows, but going forward, that's why we're doing this. We believe it will come. We believe that brand owners and brand managers are working with smaller budgets at the moment, but they're looking for better value. You know, in the past they might go, I've got so much cash or whatever. Let me spend on the expensive stuff, the Springboks and the football, because they weren't giving the best return for your money, but they were happy to overpay. They're paying, they're getting a 3-to-1 return, a media value or whatever, but they're happy to do it because things were fine and dandy in their lives. But now that budgets are tighter and owners of businesses are looking for better value, there's no one offering better value than what EFC's got. If a brand wants to get out there in Africa and get in front of people in Africa, there's no, and this is all we spend our time on, is researching and analyzing us versus other sport and entertainment properties. There's no one that offers the value that we offer. So we believe that a brand that, like you said earlier, why aren't we getting those brands? Why aren't they coming on board? In the past, maybe they had the luxury not to. They had the luxury to overspend on the other stuff. But hopefully now they need to get the best value for their money. Where's the best value for their money? It's actually sitting with the EFC. So we think it's going to come.
Well, Cairo, you and the team have clearly put some work in the background. You weren't sitting on your couch playing PlayStation or waiting for PS5 to drop like many other people during COVID. So congrats. I think the initiative is noteworthy. It's applaudable. Obviously, it's very early days. Nothing has actually launched. I think you guys float tomorrow. Is that right? Friday?
I think it doesn't actually. It does. You can't buy the shares tomorrow, but you can start opening your account.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can say, just open your account, get ready, because that takes a bit of time. The registration and all that stuff, a bit of paperwork to get it done. But once that's done, then as soon as the shares become available, people can get in on the first tranche at the best price, and then builds from there. Builds from there. Yeah, we got a lot to do, Mark. It's never been done before in Africa. We haven't done this before, so it's something new that we're doing, but we have put a lot into this. We put a lot of time researching this, and we believe it's going to be a phenomenal thing for our business, for the sport as a whole, for the athletes, and even for the supporters. I think it's a really awesome opportunity for someone to go, geez, I dig MMA and I dig that athletes and I dig EFC, and I want to see the sport grow in Africa. I can partake in this. I can put some money in there, be part of the exclusive owners club. We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff coming out about that, what they get to vote on title fights or, that type of thing. And then it'll really build up. Yeah, I think it's a really fantastic opportunity for everyone.
Well, Cairo, I wish you all the best. I look forward to the first event, May 8th. Yes, we're in April. May 8th, look forward to the first event. Can't wait. Thanks for your time. I'm damn sure we're going to be seeing you fight week. So all the best.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mark. See you soon.